Horror sucks. Counterpoint.
It does not. So today we're doing a little short because we're here, we're hanging out, so we're going to do a little bit extra recording, just some shorts. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. We're going to talk about. Well, I'm a fan of horror, as if you've watched our videos in the past, you know. Andrew is. Andrew is.
It's not my
picky.
favorite. I'm picky.
You're a very picky fan of
Exactly.
horror.
I'm a picky fan.
I think you like what people like to call now elevated horror. I think that's kind of your genre. The A24 stuff. It Follows would be kind of elevated, Hereditary. You also, I don't think you don't turn your nose up at the classic horror though, because you did say Psycho.
Psycho's my favorite. I love Psycho.
But I think.
But I love Psycho as a film entirely.
Right.
It's not just the horror, although it does very well with the horror. I'm not knocking it.
Well, I mean, horror films. So that's a good point. So you like Psycho as a film. You probably like Hereditary as a film, and It Follows. It's the film itself elevates above the maybe the subject matter that would maybe turn you off normally, and so
yeah, I think there's like three real things I just don't like, and really it's a personal thing. It's partly because of who I am. Like just some stuff I don't like as a Christian. Some whatever you like is fine. Three things I don't really like are gore.
I love gore. Yeah.
Right, so it's the thing. And that's just kind of a to each their own thing.
Right.
Gore, just like excessive, for a lack of a better word, I guess I would call it like demonic stuff. And the thing I probably dislike the least or the most because it's the most common is what the best way I've heard described is it's substituting scared for startled.
We're gonna seal off this.
Right.
So like all the things where it's like there's a ghost and for some reason there's like a loud bang and like a screech that came from nobody in the movie. They just put it in there.
Right.
And I think a lot of horror movies
like the cat jump.
The cat jumping, sure.
Like where they open up the closet door and there somehow somebody closed the cat in there and you had a jump scare. Yeah.
That's at least, and like even stuff like that. It's like okay, that could happen. But did you see the M. Night Shyamalan movie? I think it's The Visit, where they're going to see the grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a scene where
shitty diapers.
Yeah.
Oh god. That's a comedy. That's not.
It is, especially because I remember I think it was the guy on Red Letter Media. He had said that he had like jokingly predicted like a really stupid twist, and that he was right.
Yeah.
But they put the camera up at night because they're trying to film the grandparents, and then at some point the grandma, she's doing like her little shuffle thing, and all of a sudden she's out of camera, and then she pops up in front of the camera, and there's this like just loud like multi-voice demon thing screaming at her, and I think it was the guy from Your Movie Sucks. He was like, spoiler alert, she's not a monster, she's just an old lady. And that I hate that crap because it's like it's I think a lot of people who go to see horror movies, especially ones that like help them make like 10 times their budget, they think it's scary, and I guess it's subjective, but what I think they're confused. Well, they're being startled.
Yeah, it's an adrenaline boost.
It is. It's so easy to be startled.
And it's not just like a looming sense of dread and terror and fear. And so for me, I can agree with you on that point. I don't like jump scares. I'm not a big fan of them. If they're done right and they're done well in a movie, that's fine. I think Barbarian I saw last year had some in there, and I really liked that movie. That movie was still well done.
You've got to keep them rare enough to where you're not constantly waiting for it,
or where you're not tensed up.
Right, like Paranormal Activity, you're constantly ready for it.
Yeah, the demonic stuff. I think probably I'm not a Christian. Let's call me an atheistic and agnostic, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, some of the demon stuff doesn't really work for me. I think if there's a movie like The Exorcist or The Exorcist 3 that elevates the material and does something interesting with it, and kind of I can appreciate and I can enjoy that film.
Yeah, that wasn't really what I was referring to.
But if you're just doing like the Conjuring or like the whole Conjuring universe, there's like a whole universe of movies with the Annabelle and all that kind of crap. Like, I'm not really interested of that. There's a movie, and I really like him, with Eric Bana, called Deliver Us from Evil. And
I've heard of that.
It's about like a cop dealing with like a demonically possessed serial killer or something like that. I'm not really interested in that. But I will say another movie of mine where I think they did it right, and it's just a chilling movie. It's a movie called Fallen.
Okay.
And it has Denzel Washington. It's from the mid-90s.
Okay.
And Denzel Washington is a cop. I think his partner is John Goodman, if I'm not mistaken, in that movie. And they're going after a serial killer, and the movie kind of starts with him catching the serial killer, and the serial killer is going on death row and going to be executed, and that releases the demon, and the demon jumps out, and
him being killed.
The guy being executed releases the demon, so the demon goes and starts possessing other people's body.
Oh, okay.
And the demon kind of has the power to just kind of jump from body to body. If it touches somebody, it can kind of jump from body to body.
Gotcha. Okay.
As long as the body isn't dead. There's some loose rules in there, and I'm sure there's probably some plot holes in there based on that.
Sure.
But it's a really chilling film because, the demon, or the demon starts possessing people and kind of starts stalking Denzel Washington and kind of mocking him. And like the serial killer always sung, I think it's Rolling Stones' song "Time Is on Your Side," and so it kind of does that, and it's like really creepy. So I think there are demon possession movies out there that, when they're well done, they can be kind of chilling and nerving and kind of create an interesting, perspective. And yeah,
I can see that. I think more of what I'm referring to, and I guess I'm not using the right verbiage because I can't even figure it out. But kind of like the Hellraiser stuff. To me, it kind of drifts into that territory for me, at least. Just from my perspective, obviously. I mean, I don't know the lore at all of that, so I could be way off.
I mean, he's the Hell Priest, so I mean,
right.
That's
more of the
route
I'm talking.
Cenobites. He's the priest of hell. He's not really a demon. Let's call him what he is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so,
I'm very sorry. Where is he at?
He's right there.
I'm very sorry.
Right there.
Very sorry.
He's the he's the Hell Priest of Leviathan.
Didn't Leviathan kill him or something?
No.
I thought he did in one of the movies.
I mean, could be. There's a lot of movies, and a lot of them are bad. The good ones are good, and even some of the not so good ones I think are good. I will give you. I even like Hellraiser in space, but that was the first one I ever saw.
Is that because it's in space?
No, actually, a lot of it does not take place in space.
Oh, really?
A lot of it actually takes place in the very distant past. It's about the creation of the cube.
Honestly, just the idea of that guy being in space is very intriguing.
Yeah.
I think every horror franchise needs to end with the monster in space.
I hope so.
Michael Myers in space would be amazing. Be incredible. I think though, I agree with you with like needing to feel tension, like real tension.
Right.
Like when I listen to
but it's the same kind of tension that like Heat gives you.
Yeah.
Like the movie Heat, like when Robert De Niro and Al Pacino were sitting at that diner talking to each other, there is tension, there is drama there.
But it's earned.
Right, it's earned. But that's similar. It's not the same tension, but it's very similar tension to say It Follows, where you don't know where the demon or the monster or whatever it is, and It Follows. So I think when done right, is a horror movie is just another way to ratchet up tension.
It is. It's all about the methods, really.
Right. Yeah.
And
I think I can agree with you that a lot of them are very cheap.
They are, and that part of it is that they're very cheap to make, and they're gonna draw in a crowd, and that's gonna make the whole budget back 10 times over. You can make a $3 million movie, get 30 million. Like I think Blumhouse makes like 10, 20 of those a year. They're really cheap. They don't do well in terms of like big numbers, but they make plenty.
Yeah, half of them go straight to a streaming service, never even go to the theater, and makes their money back.
Probably more now going to streaming services because it's like, why not?
Yeah.
I will say though,
and it's actually kind of interesting because it's I think studios are actually finally starting to see that, and so maybe they're starting to not just on horror movies, but just on movies in general. Like it's you don't have to make like $100 million movie every movie you make. You can make a $20 million adult drama and have it succeed and have it make money for you, and that's kind of the Blumhouse model. Right. It doesn't have to be ridiculous.
It makes $60 million, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of the Blumhouse stuff that I can say that I'm a huge fan of.
He made Whiplash.
Oh, okay. Well, I love that.
Completely out of left field with him, but yeah, he made that.
Yeah.
He does get some
again,
kind
but
of
that's a very what you had to pay at the time. You had to pay. I mean, even J.K. Simmons probably isn't that expensive an actor. I mean, the guy makes commercials for Mutual of Omaha or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, he can't be like an outrageously expensive actor.
Nah.
So so what? You have one car wreck that you need to do,
right?
And at the time, like the Miles Teller was a nobody at the time.
True. That kind of made
the director was a nobody at the time. Like he went on to do La La Land and Babylon now, but I mean he was a nobody then.
He's doing really well, and good for him.
Yeah. So I mean, I think everybody saw what he did with such a low budget. I'm like, let's give you a little bit more La La Land. Oh, okay, well, let's give you more and make Babylon. Okay, well, let's give you. Okay, well, let's go back to the medium ground. You don't need that big of a.
We went too far.
I still don't know why an elephant crapped on somebody in the opening sequence of that movie. That was a very weird one.
You're just not cultured.
I guess I'm not.
I do like with the movie you had mentioned It Follows. There is a constant tension that's very consistent with that universe, combined with the fact that is one of the most horrifying soundtracks. All the music in that movie gives me chills. Like it makes me legitimately fear. Right. Whereas a lot of movies nowadays, I'm just like, all right, when are they gonna jump? When are they gonna jump? Like you can watch Paranormal Activity. Every other scene is just the camera will be on one room. It'll go to the other one. Then it'll come back and she's like flying in your face or something.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, like anyone can be startled. If you're just standing there, I can come behind you and just kind of shove you real quick, and you're gonna be startled for a second. That's very easy to do. But to give someone actual fear, to actually make them tense, that's like an actual skill that we're just not seeing because it's all about money.
I remember I think I was in college, and Final Destination, the very first one, had just come out, and it was at the Dollar Theater, the Astro in Clemson. So one night I was like, hey guys, y'all want to go see a dog movie? There's a new horror movie. Nobody wanted to go see it. I went down there, saw it. And that's a movie that, for you, would probably be a little too gory.
I saw it.
Especially as the series progressed. But I love
the series, yeah.
Because even the second one, that log going through the cop car in the second one, just the gore coming out of the back just drives me. To
this day, I still have to.
That's a rough one.
Hold to the left.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
But that's a movie where I think they understand how to raise the tension, because it's it's basically okay go. Music videos is what they're doing. They're doing this Rube Goldberg machine for the death, and it's not about a jump scare. It's about what all of these things could kill this person. What's going to kill them? Right. And you're being creative, and you're kind of they're ratcheting up the tension by doing that. They're not just delivering a jump scare. There's a few. I think the death moments can be kind of impactful and kind of a punch, but I wouldn't even call those a jump scare per se. They're just very quick and violent, and that's the gore you don't like. But that's the thing is that's what I look for in a horror movie. Yeah. And
those are very consistent within their universe. They're not. It's not all over the place. Okay, at any moment this person could just die.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's that? You're constantly on guard. They've actually earned that. It's not like the cat in the closet.
Yeah.
Or the grandma who, I guess, is on steroids. I don't know what's going on with her.
She's just crazy.
She is.
Oh, it's such a bad movie.
It's not a good bad movie either. That's the problem.
So for a good horror movie, horror movies are very, very akin to comedies. Mm-hmm. Like there should be two peas in a pod. And horror movies is kind of like the Final Destination movies. Like that Rube Goldberg where you're building up tension and then the person gets killed.
Right.
In a comedy, you're building up to a punchline, and then you're delivering your joke.
Right.
That's the kill. So for me, that's what a good horror movie is you build up the tension, relieve the tension. Build up the tension, relieve the tension. And in comedy, that's kind of the way comedy works, is you build up to the punchline, and then you relieve the tension, and everybody laughs. Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of like horror fans like me, if you ever watch a movie with us, a lot of times you just start laughing at the kills. Because it is that release of tension when the person finally dies. Right. And if it's done right, it can be so jarring, you kind of just laugh at it. Yeah. And it's not
kind of like a shock value kind of thing.
Right. And it's not that it was even done poorly or badly, but it's just this release that whenever you watch it, it's just
I guess,
the only emotion you have at that moment.
Sure.
If you're watching a really good one. And if you're watching a really bad one, they're also fun to laugh at too.
But the thing is, horror has that advantage over comedy, whereas if it's horror can be so bad that it becomes like so bad as good. True. You can't have that with comedy.
No.
If comedy is boring, it just sucks.
Or if it's just bad.
If it's just
you can't laugh at it. Like bad comedy is
the worst.
Yes. Yeah. You're absolutely right on that. Comedy can't come back around. Like
which is really unfortunate.
It stops.
And most genres can do that, except like comedy is really the only one. I think like any other genre, you can have either it's good or it's hilariously bad.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to think of some hilariously bad horrors off the top of my head. I'm kind of blanking.
Well, you didn't want to watch Pieces.
Krampus was pretty funny, but Krampus was trying to be funny.
Krampus is a dark humor film. And that's the thing. There's a lot of ones with dark humor in them. You know, one of my favorites is Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
That's a really great one, and especially if you're a horror fan. Mm-hmm. That's just an ode to horror films, and it's hilarious and funny, and especially to, there's so many there's so many horror movies where rednecks are the bad guys killing off, the kids.
Right.
And that's not entirely what this movie. The movie doesn't completely flip that on its head, but it's just you get a bunch of kids in the woods, and that's their perspective. Mm. And so they start killing themselves because they think Dale and Tucker, who are just a bunch of kind of simpleton rednecks, are out trying to kill them.
Right. I need to give that one a shot.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of blood and gore in it, but it's not overly. It does understand that it's even the blood and gore is done to comedic effect. Like it does understand that at its root it's a comedy.
Gotcha.
Kind of a Evil Dead 2 type movie where yes, it's bloody and it's gory, but it's not like Hostel. Well, Hostel's a whole other category because I don't even really like that. That's all torture porn, which I'm not a fan of. That stuff
I hate. That stuff I hate.
I can't do that. I
think everything after Saw 1 was torture porn. I think Saw. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I could see how
Saw
it was.
It's really funny because when I saw that, I was just like, oh, this is like a 7 type crime drama.
Yes.
Like that's how I saw it. And then everybody's like, oh, it's a horror movie. And I was like, what has happened to this series?
Right.
Just like immediately it went off the rails.
Well, it became all about the kills.
Right.
That's what they cared about. And I was like, no, this is not for me.
No.
Like the first one, I was like, it's dark, it's messed up, but you're trying to go for something. I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, I don't know what you're doing. you're doing all the drugs.
So you said the things you don't like are demonic type things, like Hellraiser, and then you don't like jump scares, and you don't like gore.
Yeah, those are my big 3.
Okay. So I'm with you on the jump scares. If we completely redefine what you're talking about with demonic, I'm kind of with you.
Sure, yeah.
a different type of thing. And then, to me, okay, so don't like torture porn, obviously. But
that's kind of like a small niche subgenre, though. Like a lot of people don't like that.
It is because I think it was just a few months ago. Like I finally watched Human Centipede, and I was just like, no, this isn't for me. Like it was just one, it's just a bad movie. Like, I really don't understand.
Right.
Like, it's really not even that interesting of a movie. I don't...
It's the human centipede. That's
Yeah.
what people care about.
Yeah, but it's not even really that interesting or really well done. There's like one really sickening aspect of it that they even portray.
I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah,
I never saw it, but like when people told me what it was, I was like, okay, I don't need to see that. I have too many questions and I don't want the answers.
Yeah, which I would think somebody who was good enough at surgery to do everything that this surgeon did would understand. You can't get nutrients from that. But okay.
Well, we have to assume that he like that would be assuming that he even cares.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, he seems to like that's. Yeah. Anyways, this bad movie. It was obviously made just for shock, which it can be fine. But yeah.
And then there were two more though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I didn't watch either one of those. I'm okay.
I started to read the Wikipedia synopsis of the second one, and I had to stop.
Yeah, and there's other movies kind of in that subgenre, like a Siberian film. Like, I have no interest in ever watching a Siberian film.
Yeah.
If you've ever read up on that, like
I know about it. I
that's
believe
just one of those films that just like doesn't interest me at all. I think I don't understand what they're going for, and it feels like they're just going for shocks.
I read somewhere that it's supposed to be some kind of protest against like fascism in Serbia or something.
Yeah, and there's another one called Salo.
120 Days
of Sodom.
Yeah, both of those movies, in my mind, I never seen them, so
Yeah.
I've only read about them. I believe that they're trying to be vulgar and just disgusting, while trying to be really pretentious at the same time about the purpose. I think they're trying to be like the, oh well, you just don't get it kind of thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if the movies are trying to be that way or the fans. Who
Maybe the
rallied
fan.
around it.
I don't. Most of the fans. I don't actually know what
the
the
director of Salo is like dead. He like died like before the movie I think was even
Really?
released or something like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I don't know why the directors. I can't speak for them. I haven't read interviews with them. I don't want to. But the fans, I'm like, because like I understand there's gonna be some people out there who are gonna want to watch it just to say that they watched one of the grossest or most vulgar movies ever. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I can't
like,
stop you, but
even like Faces of Death, like something like that doesn't really interest me.
I've never heard of that.
It's a series that was supposed to be all true like crime scene photographs, and
So it's essentially like a snuff film,
kind of.
I guess snuff pictures, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't really like it's not like somebody went out and murdered people to do it. And I think a lot of the stuff in it was apparently like faked, but it was like it was like late 70s, early 80s, and there was like a series of
like leaked photos kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot. It's supposed to be like crime scene photos. I think a lot of it is like I remember reading them. I think like the first one. I think there's a scene where like you're in like the slaughterhouse and you're seeing a bunch of cows get slaughtered, and that to me, I'm like, it's like okay. I don't want to watch that. Maybe I shouldn't eat beef anymore if I don't even want to watch that. If I can't put myself through that, but
it might. It might be better if it was like a pro-vegan movie. I would at least get the point.
Right. I'm not even sure. I think it was. I mean, this is supposed to be shocking,
Yeah,
and like that doesn't
like
really interest me. But I will say I do like, especially if we're looking at like 70s, early 80s horror movies. There was a real, and I know to some people this is going to sound off-putting, there was a real artistry to the kills, to the practical effects, to figuring out how to do it. Even something as simple as Kevin Bacon getting killed in the first Friday the 13th movie, where an arrow is shoved up through the bed and you see the arrow pierces through.
I've heard a lot of people talk about that one. It's like
it was one of those like first real like stunning effects where you're like where even when you look at it now you're like, how did they do that? Like okay, I can like where does the fake neck end and Kevin Bacon actually starts? Like it's just so well done, and
horror movie fans love their kills. They love their good kills,
and that's really it. And I think that's what I'm a fan of, because I think I've mentioned this before, where it's the
magic.
It's the magic.
Yeah.
It's the sleight of hand, where it's the camera tricks that I'm like, okay, how did they do that? And what annoys me now is a lot of movies are doing that with CGI.
Right. So now you know how they did it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, okay, like, I don't really know how they did it because, oh, this guy was in a green suit and this guy was in a blue suit and this guy's head was off and this guy's body was showing. And okay, sure, but still, yeah, you just use computer comping, and yes, that's a very good skill, and it can create good movies. And I'm not, Thanos was amazing. Avatar, I don't really care for it, but it looks amazing. CGI is fine, and especially when it's done with practical, I think it can create some of the coolest stuff. But
some people rely too much on the CGI, unfortunately.
Yeah, they really do. But like when it's done really practically, like I love that stuff. I think it's so much fun. Just to see the creativity of the people and the artistry and how they did it, even when it doesn't even really look that great. I really just love it.
I can get that. I can definitely understand that. It's just it's probably never going to be a kind of thing for me, which is fine. Like I've got such a broad interest, and my IMDb watch list only grows just by me watching movies. So it's not like I'm gonna die with movies on my list. If I live to 90, like you said, I won't. Now I'm gonna live to 90 just purely to spite you.
Okay, I'm only gonna live to 45 in spite of you.
Aren't you like?
Right when this takes off, I'm gonna die.
Wow. Can I at least get to my car?
Like right now? Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. Oh, you mean us? You mean the podcast? I think like this movie. No. I was like, dang, dude, give me a minute. They have your CPR?
No.
One of the boys can do it. They can hit pretty hard.
Yeah,
they're strong.
So, anything else you want to talk about with horror movies? Or?
The horror?
Yeah.
Not that I can think of. I want more like Psycho, like The Shining, but I want more like It Follows, because I know there's never going to be another Shining, another Psycho, which is fine.
I think there could. I think.
You think so?
I think there could be. I think there's directors out there who I think are competent and capable.
I also mean like doing it like the old school way too. Also.
I think. Well,
there could be someone.
It's not going to be completely old school way, because I mean, like,
not completely. I don't expect it to be
even The Shining is what 40 years old now. So I think.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
So I think like. Just there's so many revolutions that have happened in filming, and I mean, like, even if you look at someone like Quentin Tarantino, who relishes the old days, and I mean, maybe he doesn't film on digital, but he still uses modern techniques to get his movies done. So I mean, and modern editing methods. So I don't think you're ever going to get a movie entirely like that, but I think you can get movies very similar, and I think of horror movies at least of their calibers in the future. I think there's a lot of very talented and great directors out there today that could potentially do that, and I'd love to, was it Ari Aster?
Ari Aster, yeah.
Ari Aster. I think I'd love to see what he does in the future. I think we're going to try to go see his latest movie in the theater together. He's
a talented guy. He's got a lot there.
Mike Flanagan is just the stuff he makes. I really want to see more movies from him. I would love to see what he could do, just with a really interesting horror movie.
Jordan Peele's got a lot of talent too.
Yes, another one. I think
which completely caught me off guard when he made Get Out.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a fan of Nope. I really enjoyed Nope. I need to go back and watch Us.
I haven't started yet. I have it downloaded because I wanted to watch it drill.
Nope is good. There's one scene in there that I was shocked at how disturbing it was. It's not really gory or graphic, but just when you understand what's happening in that moment, wow, it's a disturbing sequence. It's really, really well done.
I think I liked Us better though than Get Out. Get Out was very good. Good, like it caught me off guard, but I was kind of like, like one that I'm like, I don't really care if I see it again, but I enjoyed it. Us, I want to see it again.
See, I liked Get Out because it was when horror is done right, it can have really profound social commentaries.
Yes. Without
being preachy and hitting you on the head.
Yes.
It can still just be a really entertaining film, give you some good social commentary, and an interesting perspective that maybe you haven't thought about. But still just entertain the hell out of you. And I think that's why I like Get Out, because I'm like, I see a lot of stuff today. It's very preachy, but not a lot of it is entertaining. I'm going to entertain you, and then slip a little message. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to put a little bit of medicine in this spoonful of sugar, and that's one thing I really love that about really I think all of his movies, even Nope had a little bit of that in there as well. And
The thing is, if you're really preachy, I could agree with you 100%. I'm going to be against you because I find that so obnoxious.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that. All
right. Well, I think that's all for horror movies. So, thanks for listening to us rant and talk, and we will see you next time.
We're gonna seal off this.